As we eagerly await Grand Theft Auto 6, many gamers are revisiting some of Rockstar Games' other titles, such as GTA 4, LA Noire, and of course, the Red Dead Redemption series, the latter of which brings us to today's video. There will no doubt be a third installment of the Redemption series, albeit some distance off, and many have speculated as to the setting, story, and protagonist of the title. Matt Callender, the unseen Vandalin gang member, seems to be a popular choice, with many wishing to visit his storyline alongside his brother Davey, who were both unfortunately slain due to the Blackwater ferry heist. Others are hoping to see the early days of renowned shootist Landon Ricketts, long before he meets John Marston in Mexico during retirement, and some wish to see the story of Jack Marston during the Great War, and his life after the death of his parents in 1911 and 1914 respectively. But what I want to discuss today is something of the opposite. What if Red Dead Redemption 3, or whatever the title may be called, took things from a completely different point of view? What if we played on the opposite sides of the coin, and were part of law enforcement? Welcome to the video. You're listening to Phil of Philby Gaming. If you enjoy the following, you all know what to do, and if you're new here and aren't subscribed to the channel already, please consider doing so. Today's video is strictly speculation, and just a little fun, where we'll be discussing potential storylines and character arcs and the likes. With that being said, let's get into what we came here to see. Rockstar Games have visited the idea of playing Lawman before in 2011 when they released the incredibly entertaining LA Noire. During investigations, Protagonist Detective Cole Phelps would search scenes for clues, question witnesses and interrogate suspected criminals, all while trying to piece together a puzzle and solve the crime. This was a vast change for Rockstar, as the majority of their titles, such as the Grand Theft Auto series, would have the player on the opposite side of the law, and it paid off. Fans loved LA Noire and the different gameplay features that it came with. It would be a smart decision to implement these into Red Dead Redemption 3. Another idea is to take inspiration from Quantic Dream and their 2005 video game Fahrenheit, which some of you may know as Indigo Prophecy. In this title, you take control of Lucas Kane, a regular guy who becomes possessed by an entity and commits a ritualistic murder, plus the two detectives who are on the case, Carla Valenti and Tyler Miles, trying to track him down. It's a game of cat and mouse, where as one protagonist, you're doing what you can to evade the law, and then the very next moment, you're playing as the cops, trying to capture yourself, so to speak. It was a very original idea by the director David Cage, which Rockstar could implement into RDR3. We could play as two protagonists, the sheriff and the outlaw, as we attempt to both evade ourselves and capture ourselves at the same time. If Rockstar choose to stick with just one protagonist, there's so much character detail and backstory that they could give them. Let's look at a few examples. They could be a reformed gang member who turned to a life as a lawman after having a fallout with his gang, disagreeing heavily with their actions, similar to how Cleet left Micah's gang after witnessing him attempt to kill an innocent little girl. The character could also take inspiration from the real-life Wild West lawman, former gang member and associate to infamous outlaw Billy the Kid, Henry Newton Brown, whom after receiving multiple warrants for murder in the state of New Mexico, wisely chose to remain in his current location of Texas, where he would eventually become a lawman. They could also add that the character may be forced to return to his old lifestyle for several reasons, similar to the 2000 Nicolas Cage movie Gone in 60 Seconds. Or what about if his outlaw ways ever truly left him? We could play as a corrupt sheriff who's happy to receive bribes and turn the other cheek, and be involved with dodgy side businesses and dealings, but as he continues to bend the rules in his favour, his superiors begin to catch on, eventually digging himself into a hole which he can't seem to find his way out of. This could lead to him being blackmailed for information, with threats of violence towards those close to him, such as a wife, siblings, or even children, or threats of exposing him to his colleagues, which would surely result in a hanging. Rockstar could potentially look at the character being relatively on the straight and narrow, but those around him are the ones involved in shady activities. He could be a deputy working under a corrupt sheriff, or even some of his close friends or family are the ones breaking the law, and our protagonist is torn between his loyalties to his career and his loyalties to those around him. The corrupted bosses may attempt to force the protagonist into performing duties and tasks that he's not comfortable with, that would not just stretch the boundaries of the law, but surpass them. The same could be applied to his close companions, where the hero must take action in covering their tracks, all the while trying to keep things quiet. The backstory of the protagonist will play a pivotal role in his character. They could be a former soldier who served during the American Civil War, who is now suffering with some form of post-traumatic stress disorder, which could cause anything from anxiety and panic attacks to blacking out in stressful situations. With the Civil War spanning from 1861 to 1865, this was set the title during a time when the West was much less tamed than it was during RDR2's 1899 or RDR1's 1911. Their time during the war could be seen through a series of flashbacks where we would witness the horrendous nature of what they'd been through, giving us more depth into the character. Rockstar could also explore an arc that spans even further back, such as the protagonist losing their parents in a violent way when they were just a child, such as a train robbery or heist of some sort gone wrong, therefore explaining to us why the character chose to live life as a lawman, somewhat similar to the story of Red Dead Revolver protagonist Red Harlow. As said before, Rockstar Games have worked with the idea of playing on the other side of the fence with LA Noire, and even had portions of side activities in the first Red Dead Redemption, where John Marston could not only take on bounties, but could also take on the role of Night Watchman, where he would work with the local law for a wage, ensuring peace for the civilians around him. We could dabble with the idea of the character working alongside the Pinkerton Detective Agency in their hunt for gangs, or later with the Bureau of Investigation as they continue to crack down and instill a much safer society. But these are stories we've already seen, and we know exactly how they end, so this wouldn't make a great deal of sense. It would have to be something new entirely. The game could also be told in multiple chapters, each one presenting a new time in the protagonist's life, from their early days and continuing on as they work their way up the ranks. The possibilities are seemingly endless. I hope you all enjoyed today's video, and if you did, you know what to do. As I said at the beginning, this was just a little fun today, poking at theories and seeing what we came up with. I've produced videos before on potential plotlines and characters for Red Dead Redemption 3, but before this I was yet to cover a Lawman side of the story, and it's something I've been wanting to do for some time, so I'm glad to finally get it out there. Let me know in the comment section what you thought of the video and what you either believe or would at least like to see yourself in the next installment. If you guys wish to get in touch, you'll find any and all social medias you may need in the video description below. Thank you all for watching, you've been listening to Phil, and I'll see you in the next one.